A common turn of phrase is that history is written by the winners. The great man theory of history posits that powerful men leading powerful nations and commanding violent force are then able to dictate who writes the stories and how history is described, burning all other narratives in their wake to ensure that only one correct version of history remains. And, perhaps for a time, history may have worked this way, but these great men couldn't account for, nor control, the invention of one particular weapon: literacy. From clay and wood carvings to paper, quill, and ink, to the printing press, typewriters, computers, and the internet, as common people throughout the ages began to read and write themselves, the social force of literacy usurped the power of history from kings, pharaohs, and emperors. So long as some record, any record, of difference or dissent exists, the hope for change remains. One alternative theory was created by Bib Latané in an article titled The Psychology of Social Impact 1981, wherein social force is dictated by three factors: strength, the degree of social influence that any given person may have; immediacy, how recently did the social event being discussed happen, and how accessible is the opinion to a community or audience; and numbers, how many people are speaking, writing, and publishing, acting upon the event. This sort of philosophy of history is called a social impact theory. As these factors grow, so too does a belief, a story, come to change society. Nowadays, you will often hear talking heads on news punditry express that we have entered a post-truth society, that the diversity of opinion and the isolation created by political identities and algorithmic impressions dictate what we are allowed to learn, and even what reality we live in. To me, this perspective is asinine. We are not living in post-truth, we are living in mass diversity, constantly exposed to all perspectives, doubling down on the perspectives we choose, and every time we pick up a pen or hit post, we inadvertently become soldiers in the war of social impact. But to a state as great and powerful as the Orcan Empire, surely something as frail and temporary as a single person's dissent couldn't survive the wrath of decades, right? Our story begins not on a battlefield, but in a classroom, in the Tauron Academy orbiting the moon of Peritta. Titled the Ecomotic Historical Extract, history comes alive in this interactive textbook.
Fire, flicked with poison and dust suffused in blood, contour the great war machines of a bygone era. Smoke stains the skin and lungs. Dirt suspends itself against anti-gravity mines, long since dispatching hapless prey into helpless meat. This is the charge of Mercator's gullet. You are Tenno. What warframe do you take into battle? Your power is strange. Yet even an eldritch beast may be lashed into service. Your squad is en route to deliver an explosive payload to a hostile weapons platform. Its surrounding biome has been contaminated with berserker toxins, leaving the already animalistic rebels even deeper in frenzy. Before you is Mercator's Gullet, the most hotly contested battle line in this sector. Rebel and loyalist alike snap and visceralize each other among a swarming mass of bodies pressed up from wall to muddy wall within the trench, enraged by polluted combat stims that choke the fog above. How do you proceed?
You, young Tenno, get to live the history of the Vanguard Tenno that were sent to Peritta before you. This text is, like all textbooks, not free of the shackles of subjectivity, emotion, and duty to one's country. Though presented as neutral and objective, a close reader will notice all the little touches that both decry the Oracan's enemy as well as seed the conceptual frameworks the Empire wants you to use for the conflict ahead. Insulting the separatist Dax as a bunch of mindless dogs is just the first layer, the most blatant of insults.
Your knowledge of the Tenno ways is clearly most practiced. The brutal trench proves no match for your preternatural skills and prowess, leaving your squad with only minor damage. The din of dying continues for longer than you'd like. The distant voice of your commander barks in your ear, while the close tone of your own training sparks a memory. reminding you this is mere distraction. Attrition. Your squad is being worn down before the true goal. The payload is clear, but the enemy closes on you directly. How do you face them? Every one of your allies does their part, as you were trained to do, as you trust each other to do. The enemy onslaught takes its toll, but you take their lives.
So on the nose that you likely will pay no mind when, in describing a simple jammed door, the textbook personifies the door, attributes to it, and all machines, a desire to obey.
The pounding of pursuant combat thralls continues to nip at your heels, but eventually they tire and fade, unable to match your squad's practiced pace. By the time any one foe approaches, another of your allies has already removed them, and you return the favor. Together you are strong. Together you have made it to the weapons platform. Now you must find a way through its gate.
Planting the belief that you ought to have about the sentience place in your society as living machines.
Even the deadliest machine has its limits in the face of a warframe. Fatigue has begun to settle into your squad after the sprint from the trench, but your solution is most effective. The way is open at last. Disaster. The objective was unguarded only because your opponent had trapped the entrance. The tang of acid webbing snaps tight in the air, biting deep into your warframes. You are suspended and sawed through in equal measure as your bodies are held by corrosive weave. How do you escape? The acid flences and scars, but the trap gives way before your body does. The web snaps, though you are most certainly weakened in the exchange. One of your squad mates ignites a void-touched palm to flood the tunnel beneath the weapons platform with light. Another stands at the ready, drawing their die cue to loose swift death on any guards lurking below. The last makes a reassuring gesture, a sign unique to your squad, telling you everything will be all right. The core of the structure lies at the end of a long and winding tunnel. The scratch of hidden danger skitters along the walls and extends shadows into horrible configurations. You are not alone, but as you look to your friends, you know you are also not alone. What happens next?
And as the lesson comes to a close, having just described a scene of unfathomable death and violence, the prose merely glosses over it by singing praises to nationalist pride.
Your tactics are sound, but the enemy has been waiting, fresh while you were, with the advantage of numbers, terrain, and surprise. Victory comes swiftly, but not without a cost.
Honoring your sacrifice to the Golden Lords, feeding your desire for thumos, saying, "Thank you for your service." That's the only bandage needed when war causes a wound. Or maybe not.
Success! The payload finds its way home. Although as you make your way back up the spiraling stair to the surface, you know that your friends this day will not. This is just one of hundreds of hard truths forever branded on our history. That this victory, like so many others, was bought in Tenno blood and warframe bonds, forever shed and severed. Their deaths serve as the true road to the boundless future and endless territory we, Orikin and Sentient, strive together to tread. Let it never be said that both sides in our perilous conflict did not suffer noble wounds for the twinned cause of justice and life. Let it never be said
that the Oricon aren't a pack of lying, blood-hungry poo-bro, praying for every single sack of meat they can carve out of our bloody hides.
The word ecchymosis refers to the discoloration of skin resulting from subsurface bleeding as the result of a wound. It is a bruise. The phrase ecchymotic historical extract therefore means to remove the wound just under the surface, to remove the evidence of harm and suffering from the stories of history, to make sure that history praises the state and prevents the next wave of soldiers from questioning their loyalty to the state when they are promised honor and respect for their service. Their deaths matter because they didn't die alone. They died for a government. Upon a closer inspection of the archive by finding glitches in the matrix, the Tenno can peer below the surface and hear a different perspective on the war. The first-hand accounts of the Tenno Vanguard, the first children sent to fight on Peritta, clad in prime warframes, they encountered a threat that was, once again, beyond Oricon perception. Thunder, Rhino Prime's Tenno.
See that? Didn't even scratch the armor. Like the old fort I made back on the ship when things got bad. And if they can't get through me, they won't ever get through us. I promise.
Perch, Ivara Prime's Tenno.
I know it's scary, but when you can't see me, that means they can't either. It means I'm watching over you. It means you're safe. Nobody will ever get close enough to hurt you. Never again.
Sunny, Wisp Prime's Tenno.
You know what helps me? Thinking about home. No, not the school or the Zariman. I mean the place we're going to build together after this. Come on, you can have your own bedroom.
Snapper, Cora Prime's Tenno.
You think I want to fight? I don't. But you know as well as I do that putting them down first is the surest, fastest way to end this war, not losing anyone else before then, myself included.
Gast, Necros Prime's Tenno.
Dying isn't so bad. There's worse things, I checked. But being with you lot? That's better. I think. Our parents would want it this way. Most of them.
A team of Tenno discussing whether to comply with their orders and proceed to enter the Old War. By finding each of this team's logs, we are able to access a hidden chapter in the simulation story, an epitaph made by the last remaining Tenno on the Vanguard's team.
Hey, you made it. Whoever you are. Hopefully not Oricon. If you are, I hope you choke on the red stuff and cough down a merc ray. That would still be too good for you. If you're not, congrats. You found our little hidey hole. More like a headstone, really. Maybe mine by the time you're reading this. But definitely theirs. My friends. My squad mates. The other Tenno are golden masters sent to die in that forsaken tar pit. They didn't tell us the big egg had fallen on a natural anomaly. A special kind of radiation that only occurs in one spot. At least I hope. That's why they wanted us down there. That's why they released the gas and blamed it on their enemies. Couldn't have anyone knowing the truth. But there was something in this universe that could seal an operator inside their warframe. Permanently. It's gone now. Along with the bomb. Along with the egg. Along with my friends. But even that was too dignified a death. The Oricon had to peel our skin and suck up the meat inside. Our last moments together crystallized for a training module. Propaganda. They pissed on our graves, so I'm returning the favor. Some small part of their story will live on here. In the cracked glass and data where I've poured a bit of our blood and tears. Someone will remember us. You will remember us. You have to. I'm sending you a little something to make sure of it. You should find it in your communications inbox. Which means some small part of me gets to live on too. I don't know how much longer I have, but I know this thing will outlast me. And it will definitely outlast them. And this time, I know who my real enemy is. Because I can hear the drums.
This final voice log tells of a strange radiation unique to the Tau system, one that permanently bonded the Tenno to their warframes, and, using the eggs, the Orokin's dual-purpose terraforming machines and nuclear bombs, they destroyed both the source of that unique radiation and this squadron of the Tenno Vanguard. But why both? If the goal was to prevent the sentients from having access to a means of permanently defeating the weapon that turned the tide of the old war in the Orokin's favor, that could have been done without also killing the Tenno alongside. But she tells us the answer to that even now, before the beginning of the warframes entering the old war at Peritta, before Margulus was replaced by Nata and became the Lotus, a certain portion of the Tenno children were already planning to rebel against the Orokin Empire. They knew independence surviving by themselves on the Zariman. They dreamed of making a home together after the war. We hear the drums pounding, a calling card for all the Tenno yearning for freedom, to subtly communicate when the riot would begin, on the night of Naga drums. Did our Tenno ever see this message? Perhaps they did. Perhaps they had too much stake in the game. One of the last Tenno to arrive after the old peace began, but during the Peritta rebellion, they had a home in the Tauron Academy. They had friends and family. Perhaps they wanted to give peace under the Orokin a chance. And so, the story is finally ready to begin. Part 1, The Old Peace. Somewhere on a pale, dusty rock, a flower blooms in the dull blue hues of night. We pick the flower from the soil of Peritta, a terraformed moon, and, moments later, a body rises from beneath the ashes. The body of Excalibur Prime, first among Warframes and last among Tau. A grand sentient in the distance searches for this tiny bug, and the Warframe must flee. The twin suns rise, and the game is over. Our friend Adis comes to join us.
Mohudatenu. I win. You let.
Let's call it even.
Call it peace offer.
This sequence is a memory, a record of history trapped within the mind of a Tenno child. But what good is history if it is locked away, never to be discussed?
What did you see? Tau. But not enough.
Not enough!
This is the only way we find out.
Flooding their head with polluted histories. I won't! Come, Tenno. Let's get you dry.
It's okay, Lloyd. I have to. I want to.
Some things are best forgotten.
I had a friend, Lloyd. Like me. His name was Adis. Again.
Within the Sanctum Anatomica, we find ourselves floating within a strange sensory deprivation chamber, the Dark Refractory, a technology of Albrecht's making to relive and recover past memories of one's life. Lloyd criticizes the very use of the machine for the sake of both our immediate health and denouncing the validity of the practice itself, calling it tainted, corrupted, false, and the reason for the insult is quite warranted. In the psychoanalytical theory of psychology, the school of talk therapy championed by Sigmund Freud, the concept of a repressed memory is one in which a childhood event could be so traumatic as to cause the child to fully repress the memory of that moment, meaning to forget or lose the ability to recall the information as a matter of self-preservation. A belief that Freud would later remove from his psychoanalytic framework. Though Freud was foundational to the basic structure of psychoanalysis, the idea that conversation is a powerful tool for mental health, most of his actual theories are widely discredited and unhelpful in terms of understanding human trauma and behavior. Ideas like the death drive, various stimuli fixations, and widespread Oedipus complexes never panned out in scientific research. Unfortunately, repressed memories is an idea that has proven to have a lot of staying power in popular culture, leading to recovered memory therapy, a wide slate of esoteric and now discredited processes such as hypnosis, guided meditations, and hallucinogenic substances, causing increased rates of another psychological phenomenon, the false memory, wherein a patient is led, often inadvertently by the true believing practitioner, into believing they have recovered a repressed memory, but in fact have fabricated a belief in a new past trauma that never occurred, and thereby causing a new harm to the patient. The question we must ask for the story of Warframe in this moment is whether the events we are witnessing are true accounts. At least true from our perspective. We know that Margulus had the ability to quiet Tenno minds through Orokin technology, that the Orokin were well versed in controlling the minds of Dax through the use of Kuva, that our memories of ourselves as Tenno were stolen from us by the first dream. Through the rules of sci-fi magic, I think it is safe to say that the Lotus is, in fact, helping us to unlock memories that were long hidden away. Life at Tauron Academy was simple for the children in attendance. Days spent in frivolous fun and childish antics, pitted between the responsibility of proving that peace was the proper choice, the responsibility of proving that the instruments, tools, slaves should now be treated as people within the Orokin imperial hierarchy. For all the good that's worth.
How late the we?
Relax. We've got this.
to carry the sacred light of our dominion into the deepest dark. And this we have done. Swear now to defend this holy treaty alongside our blessed and brave creations, the sentience of Tau.
Can you believe we used to be at war?
No joke, Tenno.
It's just insane. When all the time, it could have been like this.
What your parents say if they hear?
Oh, they'd invite you to dinner, then panic over what to feed you. Did they ever tell you what happened to your ancestors?
Making up the Great Rail was the telling. First you serve as labor, then you serve as parts.
I've been working on some new moves. Gonna let me try them out on you?
First we find new fighting place. We get caught, Grenier think war times come again.
Anything you want to go over before Itsam grills you?
Adis, maybe forgotten Aramon Principle Section 8.
Again? Okay, don't sweat it. I've got your back.
I trust Itsam over the Oracle. Have him report to me daily.
A whisper of Margulus, our first adopted mother's voice, going behind the Orichan's back by having a direct line to Archimedean Itsam, the first sentient to achieve the rank of servant to the 7 executors. Such respect is not easily won when, just 1 generation ago, you were seen as but a single cell of a monstrous mass, the scars of that hatred permanently imprinted on our friend Cephalon Daklo.
Disgusting, isn't it? Oracle gold wasted. I wonder, which of you would this aberration attack first?
Stupid.
Watch your mouth, void lugger.
Please, with me. The place for conflict is in the dojo.
Before the conflict can escalate, Archimedean Itsam arrives to defuse the situation. He removes us to give Adis a particular test, a proof of evolution.
Adis, Truth Bloom, have you adapted to the Tenno ways? When the applications of Tauron are applied to Naramon's theories, what is the expected outcome?
A new somatic connection.
A somatic connection new? Power increase many?
No cheating. If you are tested by the 7, we must show your evolution to their ways.
So, the 7 are coming?
The treaty is not as finished as we would wish. The conditions laid upon our stewardship.
Anarch strike is underway. Tauron students to deployment.
Let's go, Truth Bloom.
Adis did not choose name.
The discussion is cut short before Itsam and Adis can have the talk, as an emergency on the ground of Peritta calls our attention.
Well, praise the void. You two managed to show up on time. Borrow Overlook. Go. Now.
The peace treaty is certainly incomplete. A faction of anti-sentient Dax rebels have begun a new assault. While the children rush off to war in this supposed peacetime, let's take a moment to have the talk. What Itsam was attempting to discuss with our young Adis is the need for assimilation to maintain life and safety within a bigoted and unequal power structure. To be allowed to live, the sentient's children must fit into a part of the hierarchy, and Adis is expected to fit into the role of a Tenno. In the philosophy of race, centuries of work have gone into developing a wide variety of equally erroneous justifications for hatred, discrimination, and enslavement of different people. Before the medieval era, people attributed social belonging to characteristics like family or tribal connections, or even just presence in a community or region. By the 7th century CE, medieval concepts attributed different physical appearances to biblical mythos, as either punishments or rewards given by God, mainly to justify the enslavement of African people by the Islamic empires, though also to justify inter-European slave trades mainly made of Christian European people enslaving and trafficking Slavic people amongst themselves and to the Middle East. But from here, a sort of science started being applied in the 9th through 14th century, as appearances were being attributed to regional climate on top of moral worthiness. By the 16th and 17th centuries, European zoologists were classifying different humans into taxonomies based on regions of skin color, and slowly began adopting the nomenclature of race, species, and subspecies. Inspired by new insights resulting from the perspectives of European colonialists, this marked the dawn of scientific racism, both the belief that race even exists as a real concept in the biological world, and categorizing different people as subhuman or non-human based on their divergence from whichever European identity the scientist was working within. The first extant published work of explicitly modern racism being François Bernier's 1684 article titled New Division of Earth by the Different Species or Races Which Inhabit It, which posited 4 racial categories. The 18th, 19th, and 20th centuries would each see new and aggressive publications, each supposedly proving that race was real and presenting new arguments to justify how biology determined social and moral value, and thereby justified the transatlantic slave trade and all other activities of colonialism, economic exploitation, and political disenfranchisement. From polygenism to Johann Blumenbach's 1779 taxonomy of 5 racial categories based on his invention of phrenology, to the eugenics movement of the 19th and 20th century trying to prove through evolutionary inheritance that all races are genetically inferior to the hegemonic ruling class of Europeans. The validity of race sciences has dwindled gradually since the 1930s, and eugenics fully disproved as a field by the completion of the Human Genome Project in 2003, which proved demonstrably that all Homo sapiens, regardless of the entirely socially constructed categories of race, are the same species genetically. And yet, the beliefs of racism, that these divides between people exist at all or are causal of the disparity between how different groups of people ought to be valued and respected, is sadly fully entrenched in society as a whole. The very idea that one must prove their evolution, that one must assimilate to a specific ideology or way of life to be respected, is the exact battle that Adis, a sentient child, must fight. The talk is the conversation every minority family in a bigoted and unequal society must have with their kids. A warning that the weight of history is already upon their backs, that one must develop an awareness that society will treat you differently merely for the way you look, that your neighbors, people who believe they are superior to you, and the state will exercise violence against you if you try to assert both your individualism and your equality in the wrong way or the wrong moment. No, only the exercise of respectability politics can keep you safe. Only the achievement of black excellence will cause the bigot to bless you with their favor. This is the double consciousness in the philosophy of W.E.B. Du Bois, that through this battle we learn to see ourselves both as our individual selves and as our responsibility to our race, that we must switch the coding of our speech, behavior, and even our thought in order to survive this society, while inadvertently upholding the idea that race is real. Adis and the Tenno descend onto Peritta to fight that battle.
We're pinned down here, Tenno! Can you give us a miracle?
Once we land, we hear the whispers of the man in the wall, encouraging the violence.
That's the spirit, kiddo. Limb from limb.
Shut up.
Back! Fall back! Tenno, Savior.
an army of Dax pejoratively asserting that a sentient is still a machine, that a sentient is untrustworthy, unlike the glorious and holy Orican Empire. We call Adis by the name Truthbloom, and he makes a point to chastise us in what way he is allowed. This is not a name he chose, it is one assigned to him. In a bunker, Adis uses his power to heal the wounds of his ally, singing a song of war, pride, self-sacrifice, of the sentient's right to make a home for themselves in Tau, a song that feeds his spirit. And, when the sentient battlist is recovered, they don't say thank you, they say Truthbloom, a name Adis hates, but he gives no pushback when surrounded by the loyal Grineer army.
I see them.
Proceeding to the next objective, we take a moment for Adis to recharge his energy in a garden of xenoflowers.
That was the old Macross cannon. Can you take it out?
Trust the we.
While Valder, a Grineer bannerman, explains the story of the old peace as he was told it, that the sentients were already waging war against the Orican when they found the xenoflowers, a unique form of life to the Tau system with a unique radiation, one that granted the sentients their sapience, evolved them into people that could be reasoned with.
Go charge up, Adis. I've got your back.
You are authentic friend, Tenno.
Xenoflora. Flowers. The only real alien life we've ever found, and the Sents scarfed them down like Kubro Chow. Just as well for us they did, eh, Tenno? Suddenly they've all got minds of their own. So no more hive mind. So no more war.
Ready?
Tau fills me.
Dreamers. Now does that story sound true to you? That the mindless machines waged a war of freedom, but they willingly ended the war when the flowers gave them rationality? That's a rather convenient history.
Take out that gun, Tenno! We're getting pounded!
Tantivy! Ha! What say you all? Shall we enlighten this Tenno?
The shields, Adis!
I got it! Peritta! Now, Tenno!
Good work! This treaty's going to live, Galastra, and you don't get to tear it up. Dropships inbound!
Valder, my old pet. Better count your flock again, dog, and keep your ships on the ground. Else I'll be set to carving your lost lamb.
Hurry, Tenno!
Once the Separatist turret is destroyed, rather than extract with the Grineer, we move on to a new destination, not one assigned to us by our superiors. We come upon an egg, a world seeder, a massive structure used to terraform the moon of Peritta. Adis describes it as a cursed thing for following the programming given to it by the Orican.
Bad place. Golden cursed. Long ago, precepting.
No history taught in those Tenno schools? Peace cannot abide the machines.
You're the only ones keeping this war alive.
Let me show you why.
Converted to an anarch base, Galastra, the commander of the anarchs, brings us inside to explain her perspective.
What? The blooms make us more than machine. Why does she hate?
A place to breathe.
As we descend, we see effigies, scarecrows, of sentient bodies strung up on spears, showing that their devotion to hatred is almost, in a way, religious. Galastra does not believe in the personhood of a sentient, and she believes she has scientific proof. Below, a captured sentient calls out to Adis for help. They have imprisoned a dactylist.
The promise of a home, so lightly surrendered.
Coming, Hivekin!
Using a call sign, referring to the sentient by a serial number, Galastra is able to give him an order, one that he cannot refuse.
Let him go!
Of course! When he's good and ready, child. Sentient TQ-776VL. Repel intruders. So desperate for orders without your xenoflora.
She, characterizing his inability to resist the Orcan programming as proof that the sentients are not people. But Adis refers to him as Hivekin, as a brother, as family. Despite being opposed, Adis sees the personhood in our enemy, so I tried to buy him time. To me, taking on names appears to be a defensive strategy for sentience, like how Capoeiristas took on a cultural nickname to avoid police identification during apartheid. For Galastra to issue commands, she had to read a serial number, a call sign, their make and model, so to speak. Modern sentients like Hunhao and Nata, by taking on names, prevent anyone from learning their call sign, and it is my belief that they can, through this, maintain their individuality even without the xenoflowers, just as Hunhao and Nata do. The theme of being given unwanted names has appeared before, in Jade Shadows and The Sacrifice, representing servitude or punishment. Warframes don't have the names of the people inside, yet there are also themes of self-chosen names, like the Lotus or the Warframe Temple, which thereby come to represent freedom. I thought for a moment, what if I let the memory play out? What if I don't fight and give Adis time to heal him? Would I be able to change the outcome? Sadly, this is just a memory, and the conclusion to the story was written a long time ago. When the fight concludes, Adis confronts us about what we have just done. Why didn't we trust him? Why did we fight? In the psychological study of autism, masking is the act of regulating how you behave or represent yourself to meet social expectations. The daily act of hiding your true self from the people around you, avoiding behaviors that reduce anxiety because they're seen as weird, repressing emotion because autistic feelings are seen as scary or dangerous for normal people, laboring to appear neurotypical at the cost of chronic anxiety. The inability to form deep, vulnerable friendships, and the cognitive dissonance of losing your true self to the daily performance. Not letting anyone see you flap your hands or talk too loud. Not letting anyone see you make an awkward joke and laugh too loud. Not letting them see you enjoy a snack of fried chicken or a roasted yam with butter and honey. Not letting them see you dance in joy nor yell in anger. So too, in the double consciousness of a racist society, masking is how you survive. Adis drops the mask, looks at us with his real face. Do you see your friend? Or do you see a machine designed to be your friend? You left a wound that day, Tenno.
I'm sorry. I didn't want to. It was him or me. Him or me.
I killed him, Lotus.
It knows.
Tenno, the truth of Tau must not be taken from us again. I need you to go back under, however briefly. If the danger becomes too great, in your mind or in this place, you will sense it.
Our memory plays out of order. A devil stands in the halls of Tauron Academy, but when we take a step forward, Lloyd pulls the simulation back. Back to after we returned to the Academy. We are reporting to Archimedean Itzum what happened between us and Adis.
And so you returned without Adis. Most unfortunate. Your patron has asked me to inquire about the voices.
The voices are under control.
Let us hope so. Now, what would you say is Galastra's goal?
We ran away. Such an abnormal behavior that, through Itzum, Archimedean Margulus wants to check in on our mental health. We brush off the concern. Time to report.
War. Using the sentience as her tools.
A sound hypothesis. We know she can undo the liberating effect of the blooms. Your somatic readout indicates emotional stress. I am not judging you for what happened, Tenno, but we must find Adis.
I know where he'll be.
Having investigated the Anarch commander, we report that Galastra is primarily seeking to end the peace treaty by weaponizing the sentients once starved of their xenoflower energy.
Tenno, I know you're loyal, and you want this to work, but you know it as well as I do. There is something deeply amiss with the sentients. If they're so proud of who they are, then why do they want to be humans so badly? And every time they try, it's just off, isn't it? Just know you have a friend in me if you ever need to talk.
Adis has returned to Tauron Academy on his own. We go to meet him. Daklo comes to both offer comfort and confide in us. But through the lens of his bigotry, his comfort is meant to drive a wedge between us and the sentients, deriding them as distrustworthy for the very act of assimilation the old war forced upon them. Daklo, characterizing the sentients' ability to represent themselves as Orokin subjects as proof that the sentients are not people, just deceptive mimics. We ignore this thinly veiled plea for hatred. There's only one way available to us to make this right: an apology.
Adis, you lost something.
Many things.
Yeah, me too.
I know. Let's not lose the we, also.
Never. So, do you want to go hunting? With me?
Always.
But was that an apology? A point of similarity, yes. Garnering sympathy, perhaps. You left a wound that day, Tenno. And how did you heal it? By giving back the mask. Go back to pretending that everything is okay. Keep assimilating and we can be friends again. Before we can head out to play, a new conflict sparks up on Peritta.
Hold up, Tenno. We just intercepted an anarch transmission. Listen to this.
Incoming debris field. The prey has gone to ground, my hunters. Tantivy!
Adis, get on comms. We need intel. I'm going after them.
Tenno, go after ones with big shiny hat.
Can you narrow it down?
Lestratus? They lead. They know orders from Galastra. Make them tell.
In our search for the Anarch Lestratus units, we overhear a conversation between the Anarch Dax, a small reminder that most people in this universe have never seen a warframe in battle. Their first deployment was against sentience, and the Tenno-controlled units are rare.
Lovely berries, waste of good soil. Vineyards for me. Turno scorched the earth. None of us get nothing.
This again, Brad.
You know it's all done with drones and gas, right? Tenno don't exist.
Most would never live to tell of them. To most soldiers, the Tenno are a fairy tale of gods, angels, and Valkyries turning the tide of the war, a secret until the Orokin were ready to announce us.
What's Galastra hunting?
A shuttle. She had it shot down. The Macvos.
Adis and the Tenno discuss how the Dax social structure works for a moment.
Dax cannot defy Kuva, but Anarchs defy Orokin? How?
Orokin houses clash all the time. Dax can kill troops, they just can't hurt the Golden Lords themselves.
Maybe through Hivekin, they try to find a way?
Explaining that while they are all ordered at the mercy of the Kuva, they are organized into different houses. While the color of their banners appear to be inspired by depictions of the Yellow Turban Rebellion in the Chinese epic Romance of the Three Kingdoms, it is a rebellion in the name of loyalty to the ruling class. It is thereby more reminiscent of the Satsuma Rebellion in Japan, wherein people of the samurai class attempted a coup against the new Meiji government, which was seeking to end the feudal system of lords and samurai with wholesale adoption of Western governmental structures, for the sake of post-isolationist modernization. Like various clans of samurai, the Dax are loyal to one of the executors. They may not harm the executors themselves, but they often conflict with each other. Are these Dax rogue agents, far from home and Orokin orders, trying to plot a true coup? Or are they still loyal and receiving orders from their lords? The Man of the Wall whispers to us. Violence appears to be its only goal.
Slice, burn, maim. We love it when you get to cut loose.
Shut up.
Adis not talk.
Sorry, talking to myself. How is Galastra controlling sentience?
The setup floor. Without them, they revert to...
With the blooms, Tau made us free. All know this.
But what happens if you don't get them?
Hunger. For orders. If none come, a hive mind would return.
We are told again, by Adis this time, that the loss of xenoflowers means the loss of self, a return to the behaviors of swarm robotics, a loss of intelligence and return to machine learning precepts, describing it as a hunger, not the dominant voice in the mind, but an urge that compels the body.
Gonna scramble this targeting array, Adis. That ought to bring a Lestratus out of hiding. Okay, codes. The down shuttle. Where is it? Need to redeploy, Adis.
With the final Lestratus captured, we are able to identify the location of a destroyed Allied transport shuttle. Whatever Galastra is planning needs to be interrupted.
Back so soon?
Galastra shot down a shuttle. She's gotta be after the passengers.
If we can't keep the peace, then this treaty's dead in the water. Get back down there, Tenno.
But what we find when we arrive is...
This was a VIP transport. Whoever Galastra's hunting, they're Orokin.
An Orokin executor. You're not just guarding a VIP. You're not just on the battlefield. You're in the tiger's cage.
Attention, dignitary aboard. Identify yourself.
Tauron student, First Class Division M4-A. By the glory and wisdom of the Seven, I salute you.
Void cloak emittings. Hidden Dax close. Careful, Tenno.
We are sustaining acceptable aggression.
Failure to protect one of the 7 dictators of the Orokin Empire means not only losing your life, but losing everything you hold dear. Don't fuck up.
Your service is acknowledged. Escort the executor to the extraction point.
On board is who?
One of the 7.
Conveyance is under attack.
We intercept a transmission from Galastra, speaking to someone.
Tenno, decrypted transmission. Listen.
He'll come around, or he'll serve as an example.
Keep monitoring, Adis. We need to know more.
Their goal is twofold: to either convince the executor inside to change their position, or kill him to convince the others.
The terrain is treacherous. We must exercise caution.
Adis, did your people do this?
A devil frame who did devil's work. He deserved this, Tenno.
Upon the battlefield, we cross paths with a batch warframe, a devil frame crucified for all to see, but left behind. Was this one of ours? A Tenno's warframe? We don't recognize it, and all Adis gives us is an emotional plea, an insistence that these warframes deserve the punishment they received during the war.
How can you defend us from over there? Hostility.
Tenno, more transmission.
Still an executor's guts with everyone watching and not go to war on the spot? No. I know how the Orokin think. Once they see a sentient disembowel an executor, the treaty is as good as dead.
That's her plan? She's insane.
Little Tenno, you are way out of your depth. Now, the big fish are going to devour you. Sentient PV-22, destroy the medical transport and kill the passenger.
A controlled sentient is sent to deal the final blow, but is dispatched easily. At last, we see the executor safely to the transport pad, but rather than being lifted away, transport and all, he steps out of the carriage. Executor Ballas, the Tenno's benefactor.
You.
No words of thanks are spoken. The privilege of gazing upon a god is thanks enough. All he says is,
"Remember this."
We are startled awake to the dark refractory. The situation is becoming more risky. The indifference is encroaching.
Ballas.
Ballas is dead.
I'm afraid the murmur are coming. In numbers. Only a few automated defenses left between us and them. I'm trying to contact the Cavia, but...
They have reverted.
Tenno, see reason. If the indifference encroaches upon the equipment here, it could trap your mind and leave your body an empty husk.
Seal the doors, Void. I have to go deeper.
The repelling energy of the Jahu gargoyle is overwhelmed and the cavia cannot aid us, but still we choose to soldier on. Within the memory, we approach Itzam, who warns us to keep our distance. Peace was always on a razor's edge. Balas's whims are all that protect us.
With the 7 splits, Balas held the casting vote. Peace is entirely in his hands, and the warmongers whisper in his ear day and night. Your presence may offend him.
But I saved his life.
Orokin gratitude is like summer lightning. Its light is fleeting merely, and wrath soon follows. Wait outside. I shall do what I can.
Why is it, Sam? First of the sentient Archimedeans, speak.
It's Galastra, Executor. Her anarchs now occupy every one of the known world seeders. Many of our bloom nurseries lie in ashes. Tokaham itself is threatened. We believe she may be receiving assistance. Executor Nitok is helping.
The moon Peritta is soon to be sovereign sentient territory per Article 92. All Orokin forces to withdraw. Remain and we violate the treaty. Depart and we abandon a friend in need. What then would you have me do about Galastra?
I have spoken to my fellow Archimedean. Your consort. It appears the world seeders have a weakness.
Close the door.
The anarchs are winning this rebellion. They have captured the power of every terraforming machine. They are poised to overrun the cultural centers of sentient society, and now it is revealed that the anarchs are no true rebels. They are at the command of Executor Nitok. This isn't a war. It's a debate.
Shake a leg. Adis and Itzam are waiting for you at Tokaham.
A game to see which executor blinks first. Rather than involve the Orokin any further, at the suggestion of Archimedean Margulus, we now seek to sabotage the World Seeders as our ace in the hole, a way to annihilate Nitok's forces with one fell motion. While the plan is set in motion, we are returned to our daily life. The culmination of our training pointing towards uniting the Tenno and the next generation of sentient children together, symbolized as a gift. We descend to the temple, the nursery of Tok-Amen.
Remember, this place is holy to them, so mind your manners.
Adis is there waiting for us. A sentient in the shape of a wolf greets us.
You were born here? It's beautiful.
The Tenno in the refractory would remember him as one of the 3 Archons we fought during the New War, or at least the amalgam of his remains attached to a warframe husk. He is gentle and loving to Adis, speaking only in the native tongue of the sentient society. Were each of the Archons caretakers to newly born sentient children, or just Amar? Balas placed Archimedean Itzam here, in the place that was meant to be sovereign and self-governed territory for the sentients, to defend this sanctuary and to offer this gift made by Margulus, an Iatan star in the shape of an egg. And on this, the day of our graduation ceremony,
when I told Executor Balas of the peril Tok-Amen was facing, I little thought he would place me in charge of its defense. In this sacred place, the minds that had begun to grow on our long journey finally flowered. Tenno, Adis, in the spirit of Tok-Amen, I bind your souls together. Be the example we look to, the living truth of peace. The 2 of you have already been tested deeply, beyond any grade or metric. I have nothing left to teach. I deem you both Tauron adepts. May your union never be sundered. A graduation present from the lady herself.
We are invaded by newly grown Grineer under Galastra's command. The timing is too convenient.
Grineer! Excellent!
Target identified!
They're not ours. Valder, respond. Valder, come in, damn it. You've got a rogue battalion down here.
Negative, Tenno. Those traitors were grown off-site.
How?
A rogue executor and her lapdog. We need to get Itzam out of there now. I'm sending a shuttle. You clear a landing zone.
Valder knew more than he was letting on. He already knew these Grineer weren't his. He delayed responding to your distress call. As we fight, the sound of Lotus and Lloyd whispers on the edge of our consciousness. Catalepsy. We are stuck in a trance, unconscious, unresponsive.
What do they see?
No way to tell without joining them. Wherever they are.
And if something doesn't change, at the edge of death.
Shuttle inbound! It's taken some hits. Just make sure it sets down in one piece.
Itzam seems to flee with more haste and little concern for the other sentients. He expresses both thanks and insult as he pulls away in the landing craft.
Wait! We should help.
No time! Thank you, Tenno. You two have been a singular headache at times. But I admit, I shall miss our classes. Perhaps you might consider returning next year to speak to the new student.
But mid-speech, his craft is struck. Itzam is killed right in front of us. Why was he in such a rush? Was he a part of the plan?
Just can't keep them alive, can you, kiddo? Everyone who cares for you ends up dead.
Why were they targeting Itzam and not us? When placed in an Ayatan sculpture, the egg plays a message for us from our first adoptive mother, Archimedean Margulus.
Ready?
She says that Galastra is planning to use the World Seers to destroy all of the Xenoflowers, that Executor Nitok and Grand Carnus Roth aided them in taking the advantage.
Galastra tried to steal the life of my love. For that alone, she deserves death. But the complete extinction of the Tau blooms, which she plans to bring about, would hurl us back into a state of war. With the collusion of Executor Nitok and her lackey Roth, she has sequestered herself and her followers within the World Seeders, the armored Zeraman Ova of old. But they have a flaw, a destruct sequence. This Ayatan holds the trigger codes. Deliver it to the World Seeder's heart and turn Galastra's fortress into her funeral pyre.
If we deliver Margulis' egg to the lead World Seeder in which they are hiding, then we can disable all of the World Seeders and take out Galastra and Roth once and for all. One last deployment. All we have to do is follow Margulis' orders.
Hey, give him hell for me, kid.
Balas's words ring out in our memory.
Your people faced extinction. You found wisdom, and now you rise. Peace is trembling in our hands. Let us boldly grasp it.
Peace is in our sight today, a cure to a sick nation. Surely the Empire may be made worthy by being purified of defects. We land in a different Zeraman vessel being used as the barracks for the Dax. Upon announcing our arrival, Galastra orders an Ascaris to be retrieved for her.
Void knows how, but they found us.
Bring me my Ascaris.
The Tenno with a long memory will recall that the Ascaris is the shackle Captain Vor placed on our Warframe's ankle when we awoke at the beginning of the game, a replica of the Ascaris Prime. Its item description reads, technology developed by Executor Ballas to allow remote piloting of a hijacked Warframe for short periods, forcing them to act against even their deepest instincts. This was Ballas's original plan for controlling Warframes as weapons before the Tenno. How did Galastra get a hold of Ballas's technology? Before we confront her, we begin to encounter the memories of Tenno who were there for the war, other players offering words of encouragement based on the philosophies of the 5 Tenno focus schools, as well as lending a helping hand in the fights to come. We enter a room of Grineer cloning tubes.
You think you are the only ones to command the frames?
Just as Galastra sends an anarch warframe to fight us. During the fight, she begins to soliloquy.
Control frames, but no Tenno? Galastra burned herself up for sure.
Peace isn't won with flowers and songs. You only get peace through sacrifice.
Galastra's philosophy is that simply choosing peace is never an option. Refusing to fight, non-violent protest, turning the other cheek, these are all fairy tales. The only true peace is a Pax Romana, peace earned through war and empire. She thinks that this war will see her honored with a peaceful home life, a husband, a house with a white picket fence, a yard, 2.5 kids and a dog, a story of peace so often sold to soldiers.
I'm going to die on my estate, here on my moon, surrounded by weeping grandchildren and howling Kubros. Not now, and not by your hand.
One Anarch Warframe down, we descend even further. The trauma of what's to come, we don't want to remember. But with Lloyd watching over us and our desire to remember our best friend, we push forward.
What has happened? It's me. I can't do this. I don't want to do this. Lloyd? What? No, you can't be here on Tau.
You're not on Tau. This is a memory. It happened. And I'm so sorry, but we can't change any of it.
But we're almost at the part where...
It's okay. I'm here. My light is with you. Always.
As Adis paraphrases the Christian hymn Be Not Afraid by the St. Louis Jesuits based on the Bible verse Deuteronomy 31, line 8.
We're losing them!
Bring them back.
I can't! They've gone too deep! Mama, breaking the perimeter seals, flooding the labs. It's over.
We are jolted awake by the hand of Murmur dragging us below the waters of the Dark Refractory. We struggle against it. We are not strong enough alone, but with the Lotus's help, speaking in both her tongue and the bellowing sounds of Void's speech behind it, we are saved. As we move to defend the lab from the Murmur, we cannot help but wonder, was that only the Lotus that kept us alive? The Murmur at our doorstep, yet we haven't heard from the Man of the Wall in a while.
Tenno I must ask you to pace yourself. Nobody doubts your strength, but the Dark Refractory places a murderous burden on the user. If you persist in your current state, there is a real risk that we will lose you. I've not seen this kind of murmur activity since the day my Albrecht left us. It's like religious hysteria.
Careful, Lloyd. Don't go spoiling the themes of the next section. Plenty of time for that later.
Only a few remain, Tenno. Deal with them and then rest.
Prep the machine, Lloyd. I have to go back.
This will be your last trip. If the process is not completed this time, you will never come back up.
Adis, I deserve to know.
One last gaze into the abyss. Are we prepared to face the truth? We will have to if we want to survive.
My child.
Back inside the World Seeder, we recall how Ballas and Margulus organized peace with the sentients.
In the name of the Seven, the Lady Margulus and I welcome the delegates of the Sentient Collective. How brightly Peritta's odd little star shines now.
For a scant little while, the sentients had become their own sovereign people. 1+1 of the Orokin embraced them. As hard as it is to believe, there was some good in the hearts of Orokin. In the depths, we find a massive Fabergé egg, the central control server to all the World Seeders in Tau. With Margulis' Ayatan, we begin the sequence, and we will thwart Galastra and Executor Nitok. Peace will be restored. All that remains is to destroy the last Anarch-controlled warframe, but it's the Caliban Prime that was developed at Tauron Academy.
Tell me, Tenno Brat, why do you still serve the Orokin? Do you really trust them to keep their word?
While we cut him down, along with the sentients under his control, Galastra questions why we remain loyal to the Orokin. Unlike her, we are free to choose. We are not bound by Kuva nor by precepts. While Adis keeps us alive by restoring our shields, Galastra mocks our ignorance and foreshadows the inevitable result of her role as a pawn in the grander machinations of the Orokin.
It's not too late to see the light, Tenno. Even for you. The blind lead the blind, and it all ends in chaos.
When it's time to confront Galastra, we hesitate. Adis does not.
Good. Your final evolution. Kill me.
Why would Adis ever want to be like you?
He then chooses to spare her, refusing to accept that there's anything left to prove.
We've got to get out!
His life will not be defined by the subjugation of others. Only when we leave the World Seeder, we see the results of our mission. The Xenoflowers have lost their light. They are quickly fading into dust. The entire race of sentients, their object of worship, their whole culture and way of life, destined to wither away.
No!
In a fit of rage, Adis changes his mind. Balas? Margulus? Nitok?
How many golden curse pods, Tenno? Enough for a whole world? For a whole system?
They all colluded when they changed their mind.
Balas and the others. They used us. Set us up.
Margulus is the easiest to get to, so Margulus is first.
Volko Rahal! Margulus dies for this!
But that's still our mom, the person who convinced the executors to take us in after the Zeramin 10-0 was recovered, the woman who lost her sight when our powers went beyond our control, who gave us everything we have.
Always you know where to find me, Tenno.
A child in a war, forced to choose between their best friend and their mother, even knowing what she did. Would you let her die? It's no longer a game. The old war begins again. Warframe versus sentient, child versus child. There is no more room for talk. What good is there in showing a kind face, a proper tone, or a well-mannered dress, if no matter what you do, they will always see you as lesser, as something made to be enslaved, and if not enslaved, then killed. Because they refused to give up their hate, peace was impossible from the start.
Attention! Following the many treacherous sentient attacks on loyal Grineer and Dax allies, the treaty is null and void. Orokin protection is hereby withdrawn. We are at war!
Adis, you've got to stop! This is what they wanted!
The Tenno naively clings to the idea that the orders against them aren't real.
Attention! A rogue Tenno operative and sentient cohort are suspected of sabotage. They are to be brought in, alive or dead.
Margulis couldn't have done this! Think, Adis, this is a setup.
Balas did something, but Margulus will change his mind. She always does. This can be fixed. History is told by the winners. No one has to know of Adis's attack. The story can be changed. No one has to die, but it can't. Without the Xenoflowers, they are at risk of being turned back into tools and building materials for the Orokin. While the energy of Tau still fills him, it must be now.
They're coming to kill us both! Don't you see? They'll cover it up. They always do.
Our arrow is not faster than his grasp. Our warframe is broken, and so are we. Seeing us on the brink of death, Adis is filled with regret. He can't change the Orokin, but don't lose the we.
Tenno, you were right. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. We're together.
Tenno, I heal. I try. Cast and cry, cast and cry, raise the moon, high and fire. I can repent of night, for that for sure forlorn.
Adis' song, The Power of Tau, fills us. We glow with red sentient energy, united with our void powers.
Target ahead! Taking them out!
When the applications of Tauron are applied to Nariman's theories, a new semantic connection, an increase in power, and a regression in stability. But even after the Grineer are repelled, Adis's wounds are too great. He has no time to recover.
Adis? Come on. Sit up. Come on.
Let me feel sunlight.
In the last moments, we help him take off the mask.
My light goes with you now.
Without any pretense nor expectations, we are still friends. We always were. At least in death, Adis is free.
Did you know?
Yes. I was meant to make sure. But I couldn't, Tenno.
Bury him.
I meant to take him back to Tauron Academy.
I wouldn't do that.
We were not enemies, but friends. We shouldn't have been enemies. Though passion strained, it shouldn't have broken our bonds of affection. The mystic cords of memory stretching from every battlefield and patriot grave. Every living heart all over this broad universe could have swelled the chorus of the Union. But the better angels of our nature were brought to heel by the devils in our ear. This is it. No more Orokin. No more Tauron Academy. No more taking what doesn't belong to them.
They're laughing at you up there, kiddo.
Today, it all burns away. Finally, revenge for stealing my finger.
Galastra tear you apart!
Tenno? Dear Void, I saw it all.
What did you see?
The Grenier were prepared. They knew. The moment Ballas announced the treaty was dead, they opened fire.
Get out.
Yes. Yes, of course. Thank you.
Rap, tap, tap. You'll let me in, little piggy!
But it isn't Ballas standing in his chamber. It's our mother. It's Margulus. She admits that she was complicit.
Tell me you had nothing to do with it.
You already know the truth.
But before we can confront her, our consciousness begins to fade. Our mind and our memory being quieted.
Why am I sleepy?
By a control the Archimedean Margulus built into us.
You've had a very hard day, my angel. And we have a long journey back to Lua. The dream will keep the voices from taking hold.
You're going to make me forget, aren't you?
I will not have them accuse you of treason. If they come for you, they will have to go through me.
But Ballas, if he did this, he'll kill you.
Erasing our memories of Tau by placing us in the first dream. Erasing the Tenno from history. If the Tenno's fate is to be at war, better to live as a warframe than as a child in a war zone. Is it better to live a safe lie than a tragic truth? What do you think? A Dax is controlled by Kuva, a sentient is controlled by precepts, a slave by their master, a child by their parent, a Tenno by Margulus, Margulus by a government. How different are we? Have we ever been free? She made us forget in an attempt to hide the evidence of our treason, so that the Tenno would not stand trial in the court of the Seven. It didn't work. Margulus would do anything for her children. Nothing in the universe mattered more. An overbearing mother protecting the life and safety of her children, even at the expense of their future and the things they love. Archimedean Margulus was one step below an Orcan in the Empire's hierarchy, but she was deeply entwined with Orcan politics and romance due to her relationship with Ballas. The only love an Orcan knows is control, the only love ever modeled for her. And so, to show she loves us, she takes control. But why? In the Ecumodic historical extract, we learned that Tau was home to an ancient and unique radiation, one that could kill a Tenno from within their warframe. My hunch is that the Xenoflowers are that radiation. Tau's energy, our kryptonite. Once she learned the war would resume, Margulus wouldn't allow anyone, not sentient nor Orcan, to possess such a power. And so she destroyed the Xenoflowers. We come out of the Dark Refractory. We apologize to Nata for what we did to her people. She has been away from home for a long time, but there is still hope.
I'm so sorry.
You were used, just as she was. Tau is in sight. It will not be the place that you or I remember.
Perhaps someone else has the same healing power of song.
My child, like you, I mourn for the peace that might have been. But we cannot make the past our prison. We look backward, only to learn where we are going. Adis Truthbloom possessed a power rare among sentients. The power to heal our kind. If another like him exists, we must find them. Lloyd has granted us full use of the Dark Refractory. Use it. Your chaotic memories of Tau must be entered, tamed, and understood. Your memories of the Warframe Uriel have enabled Lloyd to reconstruct his blueprint. A difficult task, as the Orokin attempted to destroy all copies. Use Uriel with caution, if you use him at all.
We must return to the memory, ensure that the events of the old piece are clearly remembered, a beautiful piece that might have been, and attempt to answer a question that still lingers. Can the Orokin ever be forgiven? Thank you for watching, take care of each other, and stay true.